Before the mountains, before the oceans, before a single star burned in the night sky, there was nothing. No light, no sound, no movement, no breath, just endless, infinite darkness. The deep was formless, the void stretched on forever in every direction. Nothing existed, not one atom, not one shadow, not one whisper of wind, only the darkness and the silence. Divine presence stirs, and yet, something was there, moving, hovering, present. The Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters, and in that holy moment, everything was about to change. Before time itself had a name, God was. Before the first second ever ticked across eternity, God was there. He needed nothing. He required no tools, no weapons, no help. He simply was, and he was about to speak. Then, God spoke. Not with effort, not with struggle. He simply opened his mouth and said, "Let there be light." And instantly, brilliantly, light burst across the darkness. Creation had begun. Rays of light tore through the darkness, golden, blinding, unstoppable. For the first time in all of existence, there was light, and God looked upon it, and he called it good. The darkness had no choice but to flee. It retreated to the edges of creation, and in its place, light filled the heavens. God separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Day and night separated. Evening came, morning followed. The first day was complete. On the second day, God stretched out the heavens, like a great canopy being unfurled across creation. The sky spread wide above the earth, blue, vast, magnificent. The waters above were separated from the waters below. Where there had once been only chaos and formlessness, order was beginning to emerge. God was building something extraordinary. Clouds gathered and swirled into the new sky. The atmosphere took shape. The heavens were being fashioned, not by accident, not by chance, but by the deliberate hand of a creator who knew exactly what he was making. And the sky stood as a witness, a canopy over all of creation. Evening came, morning followed. The second day was complete. On the third day, God spoke to the waters, "Let the dry ground appear," and the earth answered. Mountains thrust upward from the seas. Valleys carved themselves out of the rock. The land rose, powerful, dramatic, unstoppable. Peak after peak pierced the sky. Ridges and ranges stretched across the new earth. Rivers of water rushed down the slopes, finding their paths for the very first time. The earth was taking shape, and the waters gathered into one place. God called the dry ground earth, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God spoke again, and life erupted from the ground. Grass spread across the fields. Wildflowers burst open, reds and yellows and purples, painting the earth with color for the very first time. Trees stretched toward the heavens. Massive trunks rose from the earth. Branches spread wide. Leaves caught the light and shimmered. Forests appeared where there had been only silence. And the trees were heavy with fruit. Every kind, every color. The earth that had been empty just moments before was now overflowing with beauty, with life, with abundance. God looked upon it all, the rolling hills, the rivers, the forests, the flowers, and he saw that it was good. Evening came, morning followed. The third day was complete. On the fourth day, God placed lights in the heavens. The sun blazed into existence, hot, brilliant, powerful, governing the day, giving light and warmth to everything below. And then, the moon, soft and silver, reflecting its gentle glow across the darkness of night. A faithful companion to the earth, ruling the night with quiet grace. And then God scattered the stars, countless, brilliant, like diamonds thrown across black velvet. Thousands, millions, billions, each one placed with purpose. The entire galaxies appeared at his command. Spiral arms of stars sweeping through the cosmos, nebulae glowing with color, the universe stretching further than any eye could see. And God made it all, with a word. These great lights were not accidents. They were signs, for seasons, for days, for years, set in the heavens to govern time itself, by a God who created time. The heavens declared his glory. Every star a testimony, every galaxy a signature. Evening came, morning followed, the fourth day was complete. On the fifth day, the skies came alive. Eagles launched from the cliffs, wings spread wide, catching the wind, riding the air for the very first time. Thousands of birds filled the heavens, every shape, every color, every song. The sky, once empty, now thundered with wings and rang with the sound of life. Hummingbirds hovered over blossoms, exotic birds of every color darted through the trees. Feathers caught the light, blue and gold and crimson. Creation was growing more beautiful by the moment, and in the deep, the great creatures of the sea. A whale, massive and magnificent, launched from the ocean, a mountain of life breaking the surface for the first time. Ocean teeming with life, the ancient oceans were teeming. Whales, dolphins, schools of fish beyond counting. Creatures of every shape and size, filling the waters from surface to the deepest depths. The living river of silver and gold. The ocean was no longer empty, it was alive, overflowing with life. God blesses the creatures, and God looked upon all that he had made, and he blessed them. Be fruitful, he said, multiply. Fill the waters, fill the skies. Evening came, morning followed. The fifth day was complete. On the sixth day, the earth trembled with anticipation, and the animals appeared. A lion stepped onto a rocky ledge, opened his mouth, and roared. The first roar ever heard on earth. Elephants moved through the trees, gentle giants wandering through paradise, their great feet pressing into the soft earth, trunks raised toward the canopy above. Deer raced across the open fields, leaping through tall golden grass, full of joy, full of life, full of the glory of their Creator. Creatures of every shape and size filled the earth. Lions and elephants, giraffes and zebras, wolves and butterflies, all of them living together in perfect peace, in perfect harmony. But God's greatest creation was still to come. He paused, and then he said, "Let us make mankind in our image." And he reached down, and from the dust of the ground, he began to form a man. Every detail was crafted with divine purpose. Every feature shaped by the hand of God himself, not by accident, not by chance, but with intention, with love, with meaning. And then, the breath of life, God leaned close and breathed his own breath into the nostrils of the man. And the man opened his eyes. Life had entered the world. Adam opens his eyes, he looked up, and the sky was above him, blue and vast and beautiful. He heard the birds. He felt the warmth of the sun. He breathed in the fragrance of the earth, and for the first time, a human being was alive. Adam stood beneath the open sky and looked upon the wonders surrounding him. He was not an accident. He was not forgotten. He was not the product of chance. He was the work of God's own hands, made in his image, filled with his breath. And God looked upon everything he had made, the heavens and the earth, the seas and the mountains, the creatures and the plants, and the man he had formed from the dust. And God declared, "It is very good." Evening came, morning followed. The sixth day was complete. On the seventh day, God rested from his work, not because he was tired, but because the work was finished, complete, perfect, nothing left to add. The heavens and the earth stood in perfect harmony. There was no death, no suffering, no fear, no pain, only peace, only goodness, only the presence of God filling everything. And in the Garden of Eden, unlike any place on earth, Adam walked. Rivers flowed through paradise. Trees heavy with fruit lined the banks. Animals moved in peace beside him. It was everything God had intended it to be. Crystal rivers carried life through the garden. Every tree, every flower, every creature, all of it sustained, all of it held together by the goodness of a God who loved what he had made. The seventh day became holy, set apart, a day unlike any other, a permanent reminder carved into the fabric of time itself. Everything that exists began with God. The world was ready, the stage had been set, and standing at the center of it all, not by accident, not by chance, was a creator whose power knows no limits, whose wisdom has no equal, and whose love would shape the destiny of the world. It all began with four simple words: in the beginning, God.